We've got a lot to get to. Of course, we're leading you up to what's, I think, a great start to the playoffs. Interesting series, Sixers and Nets. Embiid, as of now, Brett Brown saying still a game-time decision. We'll keep you posted on that. Talk plenty about that game, all the games today. But how do we not? Two things. One, bring in the Friday Night Live crew to get you started, Stern, Smitty, and B. Wood. But, guys, not talk about where the Warriors are. When you go into each postseason, it seems like over the years, Smitty, it's been, okay, how easily are they going to win it? Not if they're going to win it. Do you have the same feel this time around, or is it possibly the beginning of the end of the run?
You know, I think it's possibly the beginning of the end if you have some guys leave the franchise. But when you start talking about the playoffs starting today with the guys they have healthy, they're still the favorites. They were favorites for me in the preseason. I look at it as, yes, this team has played a lot of games. They could be, you know, obviously sore and wore down because they played so many games. But when you have four guys that can get you 15 more in a quarter when things are going bad, you will always have a chance. They used to have three. Now they have four. I think Cousins still a guy that can get you 15 in a quarter because he's that good. So I think with that many weapons, B. Wood, it's going to be hard to dethrone them. Other than if some other team can get hot and take away some things in injury, I still have the Golden State Warriors.
You almost feel like they'd have to have that 0 for 27 that was against them, which they won't have. Brendan, let's talk about the guy I've been calling the cheat code since they made the deal, and that's Boogie. What did you see during the course of the year? And I know somewhat disjointed in terms of how much he played and who played with him, but what kind of a sense did you get of the impact and role he'd have here in this run?
Well, offensively, he gives them somebody else that they can go to in the half court, and that's what Steve Smith just alluded to, is the fact that, hey, if Kevin Durant's not going or if Klay Thompson's not going, they can throw it in the Boogie. He can get you 2 or 3 buckets in a row. He's an excellent passer out of the post. He spaces the court. Like this team needed any more spacing, he gives them a 5 that can stretch the court. So he does a lot of things great offensively, and that's where he impacts the game. On the defensive end is where you have some questions, and I want to see how teams will attack him in the playoffs. Will they try to highlight Boogie in the pick and roll and go at him consistently until the Warriors take him off the court? I don't know. It remains to be seen. So it's the yin and the yang for the Golden State Warriors. If his offense outweighs the defense in the pick and roll, he's going to stay out there and he's going to have a big-time playoff.
But, you know, B. Wood, they added Bogut for defense.
Yes.
So that's what another thing is. You talk about the cheat code. That's another guy, chemistry-wise, that can defend extremely well on the pick and roll. And he's a live guy, and he's another great passer. And then, Kevon Looney is still the third backup. So they are loaded at the center spot.
By the way, I was going to say, because I was thinking anyway, the suit combo and the faded clean, but you know it is when he went from Smitty to Steve Smith. You've now elevated.
Yes.
You'll be Mr. Smith.
Yeah, hey, listen, man. Hey, my guy comes in sharp, boy.
I heard Steve Smith.
You heard that, right?
I know where we were going.
I'm like,
hey, listen, man.
Saturday morning, we're not Friday Night Live anymore.
Hey, we haven't worked with each other for a long time during this tournament, so I call you Steve Smith.
We talk about, for the three of us, the three-peats, even harder to wrangle in, believe it if you can. Last 5 teams, possibilities, the results in the third year. Pretty special players on that 0-2 Laker team. 98 Bulls in that group. So what about the Warriors, the health of Steph, and their opponent? With more, a report from our own Kristen Ledlow.
I'm Kristen Ledlow at Oracle Arena, where the 2-time defending champion Warriors and the Western Conference's top seed gets prepared to host the 8th-seeded LA Clippers in Round 1, Game 1, Saturday night. Tuesday night, the once back-to-back MVP Stephen Curry left in the first quarter in New Orleans after his right ankle gave way. So both he and Coach Kerr ever so briefly addressed his health status.
Steph was fine, went through all of practice, looked good.
Meanwhile, the 8th-seeded Clippers actually traded their leading scorer at the trade deadline and somehow still improved offensively for the remainder of the season. They're led by Lou Williams, who also leads all bench scorers in the NBA, and he's a favorite for the 6th Man of the Year. So both Coach Kerr and Steph Curry went on to address how to slow down a player of his caliber.
I mean, he's savvy, he's quick, he's deceptive, he's never in a hurry. He obviously got a knack for drawing fouls and keeping, defense on the heels a little bit. And he's a gamer. That's the biggest thing. He just likes big moments.
He's figured out how the game is officiated, so he maneuvers in ways where he can draw fouls. You have to be very careful with him, just like James Harden. And you've got to do your best to challenge the shot without biting on the pump fake. great player, fun to watch, and a huge key to their team.
The Warriors look to make history, seeking a three-peat in the final season here at Oracle Arena. Steph, of course, downplayed the possibility, but it all starts tonight.
All right, Kristen, thank you very much. We talk about this group and turning that switch, right? And Brendan, I'll start with you because Brendan Haywood. I'll start with you because regardless of what's happened or questions or infighting or injuries over the years, and there have been different stories, this group knows what it takes. They understand what needs to get done. But this may be the last time they get to do it with Kevin Durant. Does that make it a little bit of a different feel from the outside and even maybe from the inside for them on this ride?
For the inside, I think it's definitely a different feel. And I think it can be something that's a positive. I think when you look at this Golden State team over the last couple of seasons, they've had a bad habit of coasting at times and playing down to the level of their opponent or not coming out with the right energy, even in playoff series. You'll see them win a couple of games and they'll just come out and relax. I think the fact that this could possibly be KD's last stand, this could be a rallying cry, something that the team all rallies around. Everybody says, hey, we have to go ahead and have the right type of mentality every night in, every night out, because we don't know what this team will look like next year. Boogie Cousins is probably not going to be there. KD might not be there. We don't know what's going to go on with Draymond, Clay. So this team as a whole, with so many different moving parts in the offseason, they understand this could be their last go-round, and I think we're going to get the best out of Golden State in these playoffs because of it.
I think so. I would be Wood. I just go back to all those guys as a player. Why? Why would you leave this? You're going over into San Francisco, the new arena, but that's another story.
And an extra year of a whole lot of money.
But
hey, we can do another segment on that.
A whole bunch of segments. But I'm with B. Wood. I think it's so much going on that they all have to lock in. And then I think also this is the best type of opponent for the Golden State Warriors. Patrick Beverley. Also, you look at Montrezl Harrell, the way they will play, it will be physical from the start. They will be engaged, to Steph and Patrick Beverley. This team will lock in because of the opponent and because of what B. Wood said.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about the east side of things.
He's not Brandon Haywood. He's B. Wood still to me.
I'm B. Wood. You Smitty now.
Oh, my gosh. As we move on, we'll get into the east side of things and get into a series which could be the upset special, especially if Sixers fans are upset that Embiid's warm-up doesn't turn into him playing. It is still a game-time decision.